5. We're just sitting here.
You know what? It's hump day. That's what's happening. Hi, everybody.
We're matinee day.
Matinee day.
I'm Paul Wintour.
I'm Beth Stevens. It's live at 5, and we have a fantastic guest.
I know. Who's here?
Ellen Harvey from Present Laughter.
Who we've loved in.
We've loved in so many things. How to
Yes.
Succeed, and of course, Phantom of the Opera. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. There's a lot to discuss. And there's news. We have some news.
That's good. Also, welcome back, Paul.
Thank you. I had a vacation. I got a little color. Did I get any color?
Yeah,
For me, this
look
is
fantastic,
color.
And I hate you.
This is about as colorful as I get.
That's good. I like it. We're both wearing black.
So,
very colorful.
So some Broadway.com news. The Broadway.com Audience Choice Awards.
Very important.
Yes,
The
we do these awards every year. It's up to you. You pick the winners, and we're having this year's on May 25th. There's a reception, and there's going to be all sorts of information coming up about when you get to nominate people.
Yes, you nominate and you pick the winners.
You nominate and you vote, and then they get trophies and they thank you. So it's a nice little thing. So
they thank you. They thank you.
More on that to come. What's this Grease reunion thing? This is a random story.
This is a movie reunion, perhaps.
Well, no, it's very vague. So basically, Olivia Newton-John said to the Mirror, which is a British paper, that the 40th,
sort of reputable.
The 40th anniversary of Grease is next year, and I know because
you were obsessed.
Summer 1978 rocked my world. And so it's the 40th anniversary, and John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, she hinted that maybe they would do something to reunite.
No, they've reunited many times over the years. They like each other.
Here's my prediction. I mean, like here's the highest version, that we get like a really fun movie about like senior citizen versions of, well, they're not senior citizens, but you know what I mean.
That wasn't nice.
Older Sandy and Danny, where they are in their lives now. That'd be one version.
They could do a high school reunion.
No, I think what it'll actually be is like he'll come out on stage at one of her shows in Vegas and they'll sing a song.
The one that
That's what it'll be. But right now we're all fantasizing that maybe there's something huge happening. Grease 3? Grease 3, anyone? Grease 2. Maybe Michelle Pfeiffer and Maxwell Caulfield could also be in it.
That would fulfill
And Didi Khan. Didi Khan is always the glue.
Didi
Khan is the glue.
She was in Grease Live.
I know. Oh, and Aaron Tveit, they could be in it too.
Of course they can.
Blend everybody.
Everyone, all the Grease
anyway,
people.
So don't hold your breath, but we'll see. Maybe something's brewing. Classic Stage Company is doing a really cool benefit, it sounds like. It's going to be called the Musical Masterworks, the music of Stephen Schwartz. And this is a benefit with Bettina Miller, Danielle Brooks, Raul Esparza, George Takei, Jeremy Jordan, and they're all honoring Stephen Schwartz. That's directed by John Doyle.
Does that mean Raul Esparza is going to sing again? Because I've missed that.
You better.
Missed that?
May 15th, Alice Tully Hall. It's probably expensive. Put on your nice outfit and go support that. There was a really interesting thing for Alexandra Silver last night.
There was.
So this was at Symphony Space. She's been here many times, and I think everyone knows that she has a book coming out.
That's right.
Called After Anatevka.
Right.
And it comes out, do you know the date?
I do, July 4th.
July 4th. It is a sort of imagined sequel, perhaps, to Fiddler on the Roof.
Huddle. Am I saying it right? It's always like huddle. Her, that one.
Her.
After Fiddler ends.
Yeah, so it's a full novel.
That character.
It's a full novel. It comes out this summer, and so what they did at Symphony Spaces is really kind of cool. They asked a bunch of songwriters to write songs about, like, based on moments and scenes from this book, from this sequel. So it's almost like, and Sheldon Harnick was there to welcome everyone and to sort of introduce the whole idea. So it's almost like we saw a musical version of After Anatevka, maybe.
Which could happen.
Santino Fontana and his beautiful wife Jessica Hurst. She's still Jessica Hurst?
She's Jessica Fontana now.
Okay, well I didn't know that. So Jessica Fontana, hi Jessica.
Hi,
Ron Raines, Ryan Silverman, John Cullum, and Ellie Fishman.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Cool people. Very cool people.
Yeah, so that was cool. There's photos on our site. Latin History for Morons. You saw that.
I loved it. I love John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo.
Johnny Legs.
We love John Leguizamo. He's having another hit down at the Public. It got extended a few dates, added April 25th, 26th, and 28th. So get your tickets now. I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Oh, you are? We love him, and his solo shows are fantastic. And you'll learn something. Although he'll call you a moron while he's teaching it to you.
Okay.
You know. It's
great.
Fun.
The Olivier Awards are coming up April 9th.
April 9th.
Royal Albert Hall. Amber Riley will be singing some Effie White. Dreamgirls nominated. Tim Minchin will be singing from Groundhog Day because Andy Carl is nominated, but he'll be deep in performances here, so he can't do that. It's hard to go to London for one night, Gary Barlow and Tim Firth will be with the cast of The Girls.
The Girls.
And Audrey McDonald will be singing the In Memoriam section.
She's finally going to go over to London and sing. Finally. They've been waiting for so long.
They're getting a lot of Audra this summer.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, what's ours is yours. Enjoy her. School of Rock, Jesus Christ Superstar, and the Red Shoes. I didn't know the Red Shoes was still a thing over there. Anyway, they're all performing too. Broadway Bets. You know, we got Broadway Bears, Broadway Barks, Broadway, what else?
Broadway, what are the dolls?
Bets. Yeah, anyway, there's all kinds of benefits for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS.
There are.
And Broadway Bets is a gambling one, which is fun
You
for the
got gambling
gamblers.
and stripping. It's
all
the vices. All the
Theater
vices.
people, we're fun. It's a poker benefit, May 15th, 7:30. So more information on that on the site. You did a Building Broadway.
I did, with Clint Ramos, for Sunday in the Park with George.
Very beautiful costumes.
Very beautiful costumes, very minimal sets, so it's really all about the costumes
Right.
in that show. And I learned so much.
Yeah.
Here's what I learned. I'll just tell you one thing, and then you can just go watch the video. The costumes in Act 2 are the costumes from Act 1. They don't change. They just, like, take off a top and put on a jacket, or it's the same
Oh.
costume.
No one gets naked in intermission. They just put
No
layers
one gets
on.
naked in intermission.
That's
That's another way of putting that.
Fun fact. The Broadway.com show, new episode up. I interviewed Jen Colella on Show People.
We love Jen
She's
Colella.
having a nice career moment with Come From Away.
Thank you for saying correctly.
Thank you. You're welcome. Check that out. I had a lot of fun with Jen. And happy first preview tonight to the Little Foxes.
And we don't-
Regina and Birdie.
Regina and Birdie, Cynthia Nixon and Laura Linney are
Right.
swapping roles.
Swapping role. How often do they swap?
They said every couple of days. It's not like
Sometimes
every
mid-performance, maybe. If one of them is bored, they
Just
just...
take off your hat and give it to the other one.
So anyway, happy first preview. That's very,
amazing.
very excited.
Two leading ladies.
I'm out.
Thank you, Paul. Welcome back.
Do a proper introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ellen Harvey from Present Laughter. I guess I could have pressed the laughing one, but it felt wrong.
No,
somehow.
I love that little device.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks for having me here.
Okay, if you haven't seen Present Laughter, you need to run to the St. James Theater. That's my commercial. It's fantastic, and you play Miss Erickson.
I play Miss Erickson. Yes.
Tell me about Miss Erickson. She's Swedish?
She is Swedish. She is a Scandinavian spiritualist. She basically takes care of Gary Essendine's house, but
Played by
it's
Kevin Kline.
by Kevin Kline, Mr. Kevin Kline.
You take care of him.
I take care of Kevin Kline. And she's basically she's his housekeeper, but of course she chain smokes through the entire show. So
She does. You have
she does.
You're balancing a cigarette
I am. It
and
took
saying your lines perfectly. Tell me how that rehearsal
I
went.
developed a process. No, literally, it's very
You
funny
have to.
because I had a practice cigarette, not a real one, but one of those little funny ones that you can puff out smoke through that you get at the novelty shop. And I was like, I need to practice this. So I would practice it and figure out exactly where in my mouth, and I would dry the little bit so that it wouldn't pop out, and then I would walk around and I would, in rehearsal, practice. So by the time we got to the theater, and then I would actually have to light a real one. That was a whole other thing of having the smoke then, and you're like, can I see through the smoke?
This is one of the hardest stage props I've ever seen, to have an actual lit cigarette in your mouth. I
Yeah.
assume it's not tobacco.
It's the herbal.
It's the herbal.
honey
That's
rose
usually
herbal
what they
that
use
they
on-
use in
on
pretty
stage,
much
so it
everything.
doesn't bother
these
the
days.
audience.
Yeah.
And you have to balance it, and I'm
Yeah.
just waiting for it to, set the stage on fire.
No,
It doesn't
no.
happen. It doesn't happen. It's fine. And she's a very eccentric character.
She's very eccentric.
She's friends with a German spy, for example.
Yes, she
As you
is.
would be.
As you would be when you're a Swede in
I
London.
mean, what year is this play?
It is set in 1939, which was the year that Noel Coward actually wrote it. Unfortunately, at that time, of course, the war broke out. World War II broke out at that point. And so the actual opening of this play was delayed for a couple of years. So we are setting it in the year that originally it was supposed to be done, which was 1939.
This is a delicious cast.
It's
So in addition to Kevin
remarkable
Kline, who is
cast.
so well cast because he's got to be horrible person but charming, but
Yes.
horrible but charming.
Oh,
Kevin Kline can
he's-
totally do
he's
that.
delicious. He is remarkable.
And Kate Burton is nailing it.
Kate Burton, who I have just adored her work forever and ever, just getting to watch her nightly. And Christine Nielsen.
And Christine Nielsen, who everyone knows is a comic person,
Oh.
but is doing this sort of classic comedy, a little bit
This
different,
is-
and you have these sort of mid-Atlantic accents. Is that the right word for it? They're not.
They're
They're
Brit-
British.
they're
I guess they're
British,
British. It's set in
yeah.
London, but it's not so British that you don't understand what they're saying. Although you're not British.
I'm not British.
You're
I am Swedish.
Scandinavian.
I am Swedish. Yes.
You're Swedish.
Which I actually am Swedish.
I was going to say that.
Yes.
This is a very tall blonde woman.
I am Swedish. I do speak it fluently, and so that was part of the fun, was actually finally being able to bring kind of an element of my.
When does this ever
my
happen?
history. No, it never happens. So that's why I was like,
You speak it
Score.
fluently? How
Yeah.
did this happen? Did you really grow up with the
Yeah, it was
family?
my first language. My mother is Swedish, my father is American. And when I was 3 months old, we left here and went over to Sweden so my dad could do some research over there. And so they were awesome. They kept me going. When we moved back to the States, my mother would speak to me every night in Swedish, and then I would go visit family. And so I still speak it. And so this is just kind of the convergence of an amazing play, an amazing character, and I get to sort of pull this out.
So
of
you
the
could sort of
arsenal.
swear and mutter under your breath in Swedish
I could if I wanted
to
to.
Kevin Kline,
Yes, I could.
like if it comes up.
I've already started teaching my dresser, some phrases.
What would be the first phrase you would teach someone?
Well, they were asking me, they said, how do you, they said, we were talking about don't count your chickens before they hatch, or
Mhm.
don't
Put
don't
the cart
get
before
too.
the horse.
Exactly. And I said, well, we have a phrase of that in Swedish, which is man ska inte ropa hej, which means don't cry out, hey, we made it, we did it, until
It's the
you've
same
actually
thing.
crossed over the valley or the fjord or whatever you
The
want.
fjord.
So now I've got them backstage all going, man ska inte ropa hej, and it's very
I need
funny.
that written out
Okay.
so I can learn it, right? We need that written out. Okay, everyone wants, first of all, everyone loves your menagerie and Phantom.
Oh,
I saw you do it. I would like to say your posture was simply shocking, because you know how she is. What do you remember from doing that? You did it for a long time.
I did it for about 2 years.
Mhm.
I went back a few times and filled in a little bit over the last couple of years. What was first off the honor sounds not the right word, but the privilege of being able to play in that show, which is like history, legend. It's such an incredible piece. It's iconic, and I got brought in for the 25th anniversary cast. And it was the most amazing celebration. And people are always asking me, was Hal Prince still around? I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah,
comes.
he was up in the box.
He
I
gives
saw him.
notes. He comes, he sees the show, he'll tell you if he thinks it's in good shape or not. And what a gift. What a gift for young people also coming into the business who get a chance to work with him one-on-one in this show.
Oh, yeah.
And the costumes are still pristine, stunning. The sets are gorgeous. That orchestra, the music. And so
It's
for
always
me,
in very
it
good
was
shape. It's a show that does not really get creaky.
no, it does not, and that's because people still care about it. The people both in it and behind the scenes, and Hal and
And the fans.
the fans. The fans are amazing, and I adore them. And if you guys are out there, thank you for just always being so supportive when I was there. Really.
All right, we have some questions.
Yes.
Billy asks what it was like to perform in the national tour of Mary Poppins.
Oh, that was phenomenal. I mean, it's like, I think that's kind of one of the best characters I've ever got to play, because everybody talks about you in the first act,
Right.
and then you appear in the second act. And I was evil, and it was great. And you'd see all these, especially, I love working for Disney, by the way, too, because there's something about being able to connect with the little people, the kids.
Being
and the-
someone's first show.
Being someone's first show, and these kids would be so terrified to come up to me after the show, but they would just be so excited, and they'd be like, oh, you were the evil nanny. And I loved it. I loved singing that stuff. It was hard, but it was fun, and I loved doing that show, and it's a positive show. It's a powerful show, and I loved it. I really
There are a
did.
lot of layers to that show, I
Yeah.
have to say. Lukia, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Lukia asks, what is your dream role?
Ooh, wow. There's some roles that I wish I could revisit, like when I did them perhaps younger in like summer stock, I wasn't the right age for. But there are also some roles that I'm growing into now that I would really like to
Let's make a
tackle.
list.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I did do Sunset Boulevard when I was young, but I was in the ensemble, but I understudied Diane Carroll.
Wow.
So now I'm finally the right age for that show, although Miss Glenn Close is knocking it out of the park again on Broadway. So
True.
that would be quite a while before that happens. Mrs. Lovett, I think another good Sondheim woman. Those are a couple that just always sort of, and of course Desiree in Little Night Music. I'm a Sondheim nut. And
Oh, we
so,
all are.
it's that those roles I feel like I finally come to the maturity that would be necessary to do them. So
Probably you won't get another chance to play a Swedish character, though. That doesn't
Probably
come up
not.
that much.
In summer stock, I played Jenny Lind in Barnum
Oh,
when I
there
was
you go.
20. And they allowed me to change some of the lines to Swedish. Because she sings in Swedish in that show, and I was like, I can do that.
I can do that,
So-
and I can not say hey before I cross the fjord.
Exactly. Man ska inte ropa hej.
That's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say. Peyton asks, what's the best advice you've ever been given, or what is the best part about Swedish culture? Those are very two different
Oh my
questions.
goodness.
Two different questions, so let's just do them one at a time.
Okay, the best part about Swedish culture for me was growing up. When you're there, you learn. The kids in school learn not just Swedish, but you also learn French and German and English, and so you are really aware of all the other countries around you, and there is a real sense of a community. The countries are much smaller. Swedish culture it's very steeped in history. They're very proud of their history. I like the food. Some people don't, but it's also it's a beautiful culture, and I would say the people are incredibly generous. And I'm a very proud Swedish American, I must say. The best advice I've ever been given. I've been given a lot of great advice.
I thought you were going to say, I've been given a lot of advice, but
I know, I've
hoping
been
it's
given a lot of
great.
great
Yeah.
and but I've also I've turned around and given it to young people who either I've coached or I've mentored or I've been asked to come and talk to their schools. The best advice that I can give back is that everybody's career has a different trajectory. I didn't make my Broadway debut until I was in my 30s. And so maybe you're in school right now and you're studying and you think, oh, all my friends around me are going to Michigan or they're getting cast in this. It may not be your time. And it doesn't mean that you should stop. You may be on a different path to get to where you want to go, and you may hit it big. And I always think about when I did How to Succeed, and John Larroquette made his Broadway debut at 69, I think it was.
And won a Tony.
I won a Tony. So there is no path that is the path to take, and stick with it. If you love it, if you're passionate about it, don't give up just because the person next to you has gotten there faster.
Yeah, stay in your own lane, people.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see you.
Thank you.
I love you in this show.
Thank
You're
you.
so fun. You're conveying so much with just, I can't even describe it. It's just so amazing. Do you have any other things you want to tell us about your memories of How to Succeed?
Oh,
It was so good.
What would you like to know about How to Succeed?
You know, anything you can think about Daniel Radcliffe. He was so good in the show.
He was
It was
so
such a great
ridiculously
show. It was
good.
well designed and super fun.
Everything super fun. Just that was one of my top experiences, and a big part of that also had to do with Dan, because he's so good, but he's also an incredibly generous person.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to do that show.
He doesn't have to do anything.
No, and he did not have to put himself 8 times a week in front of 1,600 people a night to do something that is not his forte. And that his dedication and his commitment and his responsibility to what he is doing and what he sets forth to doing, he said, if I fail, the only person I'm going to blame is myself. And I thought, that is an amazing work ethic. And he brought that in every single day into the room, along with his humor and generosity and kindness. And being on stage with him was just phenomenal. It was just lovely.
And now you're in a cast of total pros.
Total, amazing, incredible, yeah, like dream cast.
It really feels like it's like the A game. Like people are at the top of their powers,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
and they're just
No
having
question.
fun.
Yes.
Having fun and smoking a lot.
Smoking.
Smoking and dusting.
Smoking and dusting. And missing my own ashes as I go past. That's like how...
Creating more dust.
Creating more dust so that I have a job. That's probably what it comes down to.
So go see Present Laughter at the St. James, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.